What's up guys, in today's video we are going to create this amazing sidebar that you see right here. Not only we shall be creating this sidebar, but we shall also be looking on Figma components and auto layouts during the design process. At the end of the video we shall also be creating presentations for this project so that we could publish our design on Instagram and Dribbble. So stick till the end of the video, and I'm pretty sure that you will learn quite a few things about creating professional and cleaner sidebars for your next design project. So instead of wasting any more time in the intro, let's quickly jump into the action and let's see how we can create this sidebar. So before starting to create the design, there are a few things that we need in advance. There are these things basically. The first thing is the icons, and then we have some predefined colors that we are going to use in the design, and then finally the browser mockup that we need. So I will tell you, I got these icons from iconsacks.io. It's pretty interesting. They have a wide library of icons and all of them are free to download. You can just click on Figma, you can download the Figma file, and once you have this Figma file, this is how it look like. They have really nice collection of icons. I simply love it. They have all kind of icons like linear, bold, outline, two tones, a bulk and broken. So everything that you need for your dashboard design icons, they have it. And the good thing is it's free as well, so be sure to check that out. It's an interesting collection of the icons. So this is the first thing that we'll need. I have just collected the icons that I need in the dashboard, so that I don't have to find the icons every time when I'm going to use the icon. So I put all of these icons here already before starting the project. You can see it's just I just copied the icon, like I selected the icons that I need to use, and something like this, and all the icons that I need to use, and I just put them in place. So these are the icons that we shall be using in our design. So this is the first thing. Second thing is the colors. So we just need to have a preset of the colors instead of choosing random colors or stuff like that. I prefer to use a specific color. So what we shall do here, we shall just create the template for these colors. So I will click on here, and I will just name this color as a dark color. This is the color that we shall be using for the links, so I will just name it as a light menu color, and then this is a final, so let's call it primary. And then finally the third thing that we need here, this is the browser mockup. This is basically, I got this from a community. If you go here and search for community and search for Big Sur Safari mockup, this one, so you will find this in the community. You can just duplicate this project. Let me show you actually how to do that. So Big Sur, so here it's in the community. Go to community and search for it. Must be here. So this is the one that I just duplicated. Big thanks to this creator Alexander, and so I just pasted this here. Why I pasted it, I just need these three things from here, so that's why I just pasted it. If you can, you'll see the usage of these three dots and these browser icons when we start creating the project. So now we have everything that we need to create this sidebar. So the first thing that we need to do is we have to create a frame. The size of the frame, like the ideal size of the sidebar is 290 in the width, and let's make it 990 in the height. So this is our sidebar that we are going to use as a template. So the first thing that I'm going to do here right now is I'm just going to copy these two icons over here, and let's make it to the right and left, and let's see the gap from the left and right should be 20 pixels, because that's what I'm going to use in our design. So let's keep it this way. maybe we can make it 15 for now, and 15 here. This is just the browser indicators, and it adds a little bit cool effect in the design if you use them. It's not required to create the sidebar because they are basically the part of browser, but they just create a nice tone and effect in the design. So that's why I really love to use them when we are creating the sidebar. So here, let's remove the strokes from here. And I'm going to create one interesting effect here. Let's create on this button and duplicate this button and click on effects, blur, and let's make it a little bit more blurry. We have to make it a group so that our blur could span outside. And let's move it a little bit down here and make its size smaller. So we have this little bit shadow effect that is coming here. It's too much. Let's make it a little bit more smaller. We need a little bit of effect of the shadow, so it gives a really nice and clean design look. So let's make it something like this. I kind of like it here. Yeah. So now let's do the same for the others. 6 by 6. So let's duplicate this and this. Duplicate, resize, so we make it 6 pixel in height, and let's move it here. Let's do the same for this one. So 6 by 6, and make it here, and let's apply the blur effect on these two as well. Effects, blur, so a little bit wider, maybe 10. Yeah, so that's it. We have a little bit glowing button on the top, and this is the start of the sidebar. Now the next part is let's add a little bit of border radius to this frame. So let's make it maybe we can make this border radius as 15. Let's try that. Yeah, that looks good. So now the next part is to adding the contents, the actual contents to this screen. So we will start with the user. So let's create an oval shape here. Let's make it 50 for now, and then we will see. Let's make it 60 actually. 56 looks good to me. So here we are going to add a ruler, and let's keep it to 20. So on 20 pixel we add the ruler. Is it 20? Let's move it here and bring it again here. So the ruler is set to 20 pixel from left. We have to do the same for the right as well. So I'm just creating a duplicate for the testing, for setting up the ruler. So I move the ruler here. So now we have 20 pixel from both left and right, and this will use as a guide, so that we don't go wild with the spacing, and we keep everything in same frame, in same kind of look. So now the next part is adding the picture. So I'm going to use my picture here. You are free to use your or whatever you like. So I have this picture. Let's paste this picture here. So I'm going to use this as a picture over here. So this one, it should be 60, I think. Let's make it 60 pixel. Yeah. So I will copy this fill and paste the fill in this fill. And now let's apply a little bit of shadow on this one as well. So I will create the soft shadow, the glow effect, instead of the solid or the normal gray shadow. You can watch my video over here. If you just check the link on the top right, you can watch my video about the shadows or the glows, and you will get a lot of interesting ideas for creating the shadows. But let's create this shadow. So I will just duplicate and make it almost 60%, and move it a little bit here. And what I will do next is the effects, layer blur. I will make it 40, and 40. After that I will just move this behind the picture, so you can see it's creating very nice shadow effect. We can just adjust it so it looks nice, and let's make it the opacity should be around 60%, so it's smoother instead of very sharp. So this is the we just completed this part. Now let's move to the next one, which is adding the name and stuff like that. So I'll just use AR Shakir and then senior visual designer. For here I will use font is Gilroy. You can use Gilroy or any font that you like. This one is paid, so I would prefer, if you prefer, you can go with the free font. Manrope is a good alternate for this font. If you see here, this is pretty nice looking font as well, but I'm using for the sake of this demo, I'm using Gilroy. The color is going to be, let's make it with 20 pixel, and the color I'm going to use dark color over here, and over here we will be using 16 pixel, and again the color should be the dark color that we have used here. So this part, and let's bring it closer, maybe 20 pixel is grouped, and let's make a group here, and let's make a group here, and again group, and call this user. So the first part is here is done. The next part is basically, let's get a little bit down. Okay, so the next part is creating the menu icon. For that, let's add here menu, the title, and make it Gilroy, semi-bold, and the color we are going to use the same color that we have already defined, this color, and then let's stick it to the borderline. And now the next part is we are going to create the menu, the important one. So let's copy an icon from here, maybe this one, and put this icon here. Let's name it icon, and then we are going to add the menu text. So it's my tasks. The color is for this one we are going to use lighter color, because there will be quite a few menu items, and if we use dark color, then they will not work very well. So that's why I've used lighter colors. Let's call it menu title, and let's group them both here. Let's make it span to the end of the area, and then we create a component. And then the next one is we are going to create just a duplicate over here, and select both of them, Command G, and add auto layout, and let's see what is the ideal padding spacing between these two components. I think 30 will work just fine. Let's duplicate all of these here, and let's rename them. Let's call it inbox, projects, stand-ups, meetings, and then settings. Now let's change the icons here. So for this one I will use instead of this icon, let's use inbox. So what's the name of this icon? Let's try to change this icon here. So if we just check over here, we can see this message for the projects. We are going to use this icon, And for stand-ups, let's use calendar icon. For meetings, let's use meetings. For meetings we should use calendar icon, I think. And for stand-ups we can use some other icon. Maybe let's use this icon. And for settings, we should have a setting icon as well. So settings, there you go. So if you can see, like, there are different colors, some of the colors are here, so we can just replace these with these colors, so all of them are now same color. So this part is complete. Let's add a little bit more padding here, maybe 35 different. This looks good. The next part is we add one more menu item. So one thing here, let's make it 32. Let's duplicate this one and call it favorites. And then here, let's copy some text here and call it maybe something like mobile app design. Then we have a UI design. So these are basically favorite projects that we have. And then let's make it UI design. Revisions. Let's make this font size smaller as compared to the menu items. 14 should be fine. And let's move them a little bit here, because we have to put some icons on the left side. These icons can be simple icons instead of complex ones. So let's just simply put a stroke, remove the fill, and give it a color of something nicer, maybe green. And then we just group both of these, and let's do the same for the others. Let me just duplicate this instead. So instead of duplicating, I would prefer it to be a Figma component, so that if we make changes to one thing, the change is reflected on all of them. So that is the better approach. Whenever you are going to use use an element more than 2 times, it's always a good practice to use component instead of a simple design element. That will be very helpful. I will show you what I mean here. So what I did here, I just replaced all of these texts. So now, for example, I can see that the spacing here looks a little bit wider. The circle icon is too away from this text. So if I didn't use the Figma components, it would be really difficult. Like I would have to select all of these 3 and then I will have to adjust everyone. But if we are using the components, then if I make change to only the main component, the parent component, it will be reflected everywhere. So that makes it really handy that we use the components instead of just simple simple elements or simple layers. Try to use components. They can be very useful, especially in the case when you need to make change to one place and reflect the changes on everywhere. So these are all of the components. These are all the elements that we have here. The next part is just add the auto layout on this group. Make it a group and add auto layout, and let's make it 20. So if you see here, it's 25, while here we have 30. So let's make it identical, the padding 30, 30, and here we have everything that we need. Now the next part is we have to add a plus icon here. Let's make it 40. I'm going to create a rectangle here, just simple, then duplicate it and just move it around here. I'm gonna give this one a fill of our primary color, and let's group these. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Looks good to me here. So let's check the height, the width, center. So this is our plus icon. Let's give it a color of white, and let's add the shadow for this one as well. So Command D, duplicate, make it a little bit smaller, maybe 60% of the actual shape. Move it a little bit down, and effects, layer blur, 44, 34 looks good here. And let's check it out. Yeah, this looks good. The final thing is adding the copyright text here. So I'm going to add the copyright text. Copyrights. Something like that. Make it a little bit smaller because it's not the very important text that we need to use. So, and give it a color of our scanty text. Let's make it a group, call it plus icon. So now we have this group. Let's call it favorites. Grouping is very important because it helps you move things easily instead of making it random. So try to use group anytime when it is possible, because it will help, it will make your life very easy. So let's call it browser. So there you go, we have the menu like we need. Now we need to make the same menu for the smaller version or the collapsed version. So I'll just duplicate this, and what I will do here, I will remove every text here. Remove, and then I don't think we need to show these in collapsed version. Neither we cannot show the copyright version here, and we can also remove this one. And finally we have something like this. Let's make it smaller. It should be around the collapsed version can be around 80 pixels something. So let's make it more smaller when it is to 80, something like this. And let's bring it closer to this one. Make this icon, this group smaller a little bit, something like this, and fit it in the center. And then we have the icons here. So let's fix these icons in the center. And one final thing, let's move this a little bit down here so the bottom area doesn't look empty. Now we have the menu properly set up. A couple of things that we need to add to make it look a little bit more interesting. Let's add an active state on this icon. Let's move the color and change this color here. We're going to do the same thing here, and now we can add a rectangle here and make it a little bit round, and make it a little bit bigger. So you can see here now we have this active state. It looks much better when it has active state. Let's make it a little bit smaller and make it visually centered. Just copy the same over here. Bring it inside the frame. There you go. Let's add a little bit more details here to the meetings. So what we can do here is add a shape, bring it outside of the frame, and add 5, maybe call it, make it white, and this should be our primary color. This looks okay, but we can make it look a little bit more interesting. Instead of a very flat shape here, let's make it smaller before we do that. So we can make it a little bit interesting. What we're going to do here is I'm going to add 5 pixel radius, and then from the top side I make it 0. So this becomes a little bit more interesting, and as compared to just flat edges. So that's why I'm going to use it this way. And let's turn on our ruler again, and here now we have this thing lining pretty well over here. And for the mobile version, what we can do is let's make it a circle for the shorter version. So, and give it a fill of pink, and let's add a text of 5. Make it maybe 10 pixel smaller. Let's make it smaller too. It can be 8 pixel, and let's group these both, and we have to move it over the calendar, something like this. Still it looks not very interesting. It looks like it's overlapping. So what we can do here, we can give it a stroke. Let's make it outside white, and make it 2 pixel. So now if you see, it's a little bit more interesting as compared to just placing a circle. So now it looks like it's cutting this calendar icon, this badge or the icon, whatever you call it. So this one is looking more interesting. So now we have the menu designed here. Now it's time to create the presentation for this menu. I'll just hide the rulers for now. So now it's time to create the presentation. So for Dribbble, the presentation size is 1600 pixel by 1200 pixel, and let's make both of these as a component instead of just simple frames. So let's call it full. Let's call it collapsed, and let's duplicate these into the frame for the design. And now let's add little bit detail in the background, because it's just white, so it doesn't look really nice. So what I'm going to do here, one interesting way to do is search for Microsoft backgrounds, Microsoft wallpapers, and search for go to images. And in the images you'll see pretty nice these kind of wallpaper that are available in new window. So we can use this kind of background for our design for Dribbble. So it looks a little bit more interesting instead of just flat color. It will look a little bit more detailed and look nicer. So we're gonna find some image that works for us. Let's use this one. I will just copy the image. The size is smaller. Let's find some bigger size. Maybe this one could work. Copy image, paste, make it a little bit bigger, and bring the menus on the top of it. So you can see now it's not looking boring with the background. It looks a little bit interesting. Instead of using the flat background, using some kind of shapes or this kind of design, it looks a little bit more interesting. Even you can search for Mac wallpapers. There are pretty nice wallpapers that you can just put in the background, and it will make your design look a little bit more popped up instead of very boring. So let's use this one. Maybe let's copy the image, paste. Yeah, this looks really nice. So what we are going to do next is we are going to add a little bit glass effect. Instead of a very flat white background, we can make it look little bit more interesting. So let's make the fill kind of 80% maybe, or 90% looks good. And let's do the same on this one. So the fill should be 90%. And then if we go to the effects panel and add background blur of maybe 30 is good enough. So effects, background blur and 30. And we can make this fill a little bit lower if you want, but 80 to 85 looks pretty good. So it gives a glass effect actually. We can see through the this background, and it looks really nice when we're using it this way. So this is for Dribbble. Now the next is Instagram. So for Instagram, there are two sizes that we can use. One is a square size. The second one is 1.9.1 resolution, the crop ratio. So I'm going for, because there are not a lot of contents here, so that's why I would go for the 1.9.1. So it's basically size of 1440 by 1800. Kind of this is pretty much the same frame size that we will need. So I will adjust the background here accordingly, and then I will copy these two over here. Now this one looks a little bit smaller because we have a lot of white blank area here and here. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm going to press K on keyboard, K for king. So I'm just going to press K, and then I will resize them both so that they resize proportionally. If we don't press K, then aspect ratio is not locked, so it won't work properly. So resizing, you have to resize after pressing the K on the keyboard. Once you have done the resizing, just make an empty frame and delete that, so that the aspect ratio lock that we created by pressing K, that is no more applicable. So now if we resize it, it will resize this way. Earlier, if we press K and then resize it, then it will be resized accordingly, like this. So this is one important thing that you have to keep in mind. So now we have both the dashboard, this design ready, both for Dribbble and Instagram, and now we can just publish these on the Dribbble and Instagram however we like. So this is it for this video. I hope you like this video, and if you need a lot, I publish a lot of free resources on my website arshakir.com. You might want to check that as well. arshakir.com. Let me make it bigger so that it's readable. So be sure to check out my website arshakir.com, and also you can check my work on Instagram and Dribbble. So it's basically instagram.com/arshakir.pk. AirShakirPK. This is the Instagram address, and then you can also check it on my Dribbble profile. So these are my Instagram and Dribbble and my website. If you just go to Instagram, you will see that I post contents regularly on my Instagram page. If you just go here, you'll see like 370 posts. So this is published today, this is yesterday, this is the day before yesterday. So I publish inspirational design on Instagram on daily basis. So be sure to follow me on Instagram to find a lot of interesting ideas for your next project. And the same is for Dribbble. If you go to Dribbble Shakir, you'll see like I upload tons of designs. If you see 671 designs so far that I have posted. So be sure to follow me on Instagram and check out my latest work on Instagram. It might be really helpful for you. There are a lot of freebies that I also post on Instagram and Dribbble, so be sure to follow me there in order to get those freebies. This is it for today. I hope you like what you see, and if you think it's worthy of subscribing this channel, then please hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.